قالد خويادة. قال رشماية وخيرة خويادتي ولاية عطورايا بتايل قاتوخن من برسقالة 2 GLF 8.3 FM من مدينة ليفربول كل يوم تروشيبة من صاد إشتا وهال صاد 8 برمشة.
Voice of the Alliance. This is the official voice of the Assyrian Universal Alliance, coming to you live from the city of Liverpool on 2GLF 89.3 FM every Monday from 6 to 8 p.m. شمان مغب أخ مضي والقاتوخم بتايلن خط فقطة من خاتم بأمتا ميقرتا النهرن أنوية من أمريكا ديترويت. قدمت جلدة لطامة صعد 5 وتشارك إلى قدمتها وجاروبة وخوقت قريالا ومصيلة قريالا خدش قمضانا رابا بغدايو شمان مغب بتمسمخ نهر أنوية إلى خا Assyrian activist رابا شاررتا أمتنيتا آتوريتا بلاخا قا زدقت أمتن آتوريتا الأرض أوهاتا إلى خا لبي رابا خلنتا يودا وهمش جمعيات له تبقيات له جو تي في له راديو له يكتويات له الفيسبوك له الانترنت له همشا وجمعيات يويا اتلن اقارب يوقت ايوا ارخ ديني خابني سريشيت اتراي شيت ولا اتقمنوا بلكي شيت اتيا مدري اتيا اينا امن الى اللاين نهرن كسلوخن الى قدمت خبرخت قبول خبشينا الخرزت Qalid Khoyada. Good morning and welcome to the Voice of the Alliance, Sydney, Australia. قدمت خبرختا.
قدمت خبرختا, David. Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be with you again.
Thank you. I have also Hermes with me today, so it's an honor to have you on our show, Voice of the Alliance, and sorry for waking you early morning to be live from US Detroit, speaking live in our program. Hermes, you want to say something to Nahren?
Well, of course, Nahren قدمت برختازستا وسوري قد قمر شخلة خد جلدي إينا خينا كلنا أسكرايا وخجدا شولا بخشاون وباتن دويتا خا بوش خيلانتا أسكر من كل soldier تويتا. Well, Nahren, welcome to the program. Honestly, there is no words, to describe you. All I can say, you are an Assyrian stalwart of the 20th century, Since your appearance on national, Assyrian national arena in USA, you have started lobby for the Assyrian case. We have noticed much change happening between Assyrian youth, especially in USA. And also we have noticed that there is more active participation from all parties in US with regards to the Assyrian issues. So I can say you are the motivation for all this. Thank you very much. And we look forward to hear from you.
Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Shaheen. It's so nice to hear from you. And I truly miss all of you from last year. And, especially to receive such wonderful compliments from mentors of mine like yourselves. It's an honor to receive that from you. You're both very, very extremely hard working patriots for our nation for so many years. And I want to thank you for everything you do for our UMTA. It's definitely not easy to accomplish what you've accomplished in Australia. But it's definitely, in the United States, it's extremely difficult to lobby with U.S. Policymakers and whether they're Congress or Senate. But I truly believe for the first time since last year, I have seen a little bit more hope for our UMTA in Washington, D.C. When I recently was there, and there was a new House resolution introduced on September 9th. I definitely saw a lot more hope just from the way policymakers are speaking about our people and the way they're speaking about Assyrians, and actually specifically speaking about Assyrians. It really made me feel a lot more positive about the cause.
Sorry, Nahren, is that the the resolution support creation of a new Iraqi province on the Nineveh Plain?
Yes.
I think it's for the protection of and resettlement of Assyrian Christians and other minorities. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah.
So House Resolution 152 is basically it says to express a sense of Congress that the United States and the international community should support the Republic of Iraq to recognize a province in the Nineveh Plain region, and basically consistent with self-determination by its own people. So it will be administered by its own people and to have its own independent military units. So that's, a huge move for us. And I really also, in Surayati, Watamagu, DC, I felt that no matter, what groups they worked with, we were all on the same page, all same message. And that's truly what I believe this time made us jump a few more steps forward, is because we all knew in each other's hearts that we all had to send a specific message. And that is the most powerful thing our people can do, that, as long as we're on the same page asking for the same thing, that they will listen to you. And that's what I felt this time that was different than last year. Last year, I walked the hallways in Washington, D.C., when we constantly lobbied, and I really was losing hope, even though I didn't say that. But this year, when I left, I felt much better, that we were actually moving somewhere.
That's good, Nahren. But hopefully that this province will be for the Assyrian and then the Christians, like for the minority, we are called minority these days. We were not a minority, but they made us to be a minority. So many genocides and so many massacres and so many conversion, and you name it, they had to leave the home, Assyrians. And today we become a minority in our own homeland, actually, a land that has belonged to the Assyrians for over 7,000 years. And now Assyrians are called, homeless, without home, and someone else is claiming actually that this is their home. I think we have to all lobby and work hard, and as you said, that we have to really, have one aim, and that's actually an autonomous region for the Assyrians, or a province, but under international protection, and then we will be safe actually there. So, what you can tell us about this issue?
Absolutely, and also, speaking of unity and, other minorities, so it was really wonderful because we kept pushing for, the Assyrian name, Assyrian identity, our true identity. And even there was a representative from a Chaldean organization, the largest Chaldean organization in Michigan, and he actually publicly said, right in the beginning of his statement, he said, "Yes, I am here from a Chaldean organization, but I would like everyone to know that it is the same as Assyrian. So if you call me Assyrian right now, it is the same thing in itself." And for someone, for the first time I have ever heard say that, that was a big improvement to say that. But I definitely, I believe that with all the help, especially the lobbying that's happening in Australia, our brothers and sisters in England, in Sweden, as long as we push the same message, we will move a lot more forward. And, when I was at the press club and I gave my first statement, and I sent you the YouTube link of what I actually said, but I was very, very firm, and I think that's what we need to do. We don't need to be politically correct anymore. They need to know exactly what we are demanding, that we are demanding for an internationally protected Nineveh region, because we truly need international protection from the beginning. They owe that to us, after all the things that many different international communities have done in Iraq and how it has drastically affected the Assyrians, the Yazidis. It has brought us to a near extinction because not only because of radical Islam, but also because of political corruption. And also I made it clear to them that the under 300,000 that are left in Iraq of Assyrians, yes, we have a small population left, but we are more in the diaspora than we are in our own ancestral homeland. So therefore, it is not finished with the international protection. I asked them that we need a commission that as soon as the internationally protected region is established and we have our own military units to protect us with international protection, then we need to have a project to help bring back the Assyrians that are spread out throughout the world back to our ancestral lands, just like our Jewish brothers in return to Israel. We need help to do that. And as long as we are thrown around in the diaspora, eventually 5 generations down the line, 10 generations down the line, no matter how patriotic or nationalistic an Assyrian may be, we will eventually assimilate into the populations in the diaspora. So we have to one day move back to occupied Assyria, to Nineveh, and try to multiply our population there. And by then, hopefully, with all God's will, our borders will be sealed in Nineveh, and we will have our own military units also to protect us. So that's something I made them think about. And I also made them think about that even if some Assyrians decide to continue to live in certain areas outside of the protective zones of Nineveh, then they need to be protected too. I said the Native Americans, just like there are Native Australians, let anyone dare to touch them anywhere in the United States or the natives in Australia. They can roam around the country very freely. I said, if Assyrians want to live in Basra, if Assyrians want to live all the way north in Nahadra, or as some call it, Dahak, where I was actually born, I said they need to be protected and they need to be acknowledged as the indigenous people no matter where they are in that region. We are the indigenous people, and that is another failed foreign policies and failed constitutional rights. There needs to be an amendment in the Constitution of the KRG and in the Constitution of the central government that Assyrians must be recognized as native. And I made it very clear to them.
Nahren, can I just take an opportunity and just to translate a few things in Assyrian, what you said, because we have so many new arrival, which is they hardly speak English, so I would like just to say a few words what you said actually in Assyrian. Yeah. شما مغبو بشمايتون خرزت قالد خيادة همزومك من مقرطة نهرن انويا خا امتنيتا اتوريتا خيانتت امريكا ديترويت قد رابا يازوي بلخا ويجربا بد حقوتت امتا اتوريتا بد زدقت امتا اتوريتا مضويا لقد زوتا اديوم بخديتا لقد بدن خشيات خارايا كل بشخنا بخاقة لبخا مطلب آيت كلن بطلابخ وخبنيتا قومتا اتوريتا خد شما إجانا وبيشا أهم بنيتا انطرتا بخيلة تبلايا لا نبلا خد خزدايا وهو مرس بليس مزدت أن أنا خدش باصوريا طويلة وبهربيض أنت مدويلا قد تشالشياتي وجربياتي إينا رابا خيلاني ومضوينا قد أطرايمانينا وداخي إنا خكمناش أصلاي indigenous people of that land وجارت أحقوتها بيشا يولتقعتها يعني وباشي خكم شخلابي تي جو constitution جو ريزا جاونايا أطرا جو جربيا يعني جو جربية أطرا قرداية جو ريزا جاونايا دي constitution دي وهر هذا جو ريزا جاونايا ادبهدت central government ادمي شخلابة قد أطراي إنناش أصلاي خيانة دها أطرا وشق من زدق ناشايد بطلابي وخيداها بنيتا ماري وخت هاي قاطراي و خسيريات خين دينا بخايا تاما إنا أطراي هاوي لقوشن جاني تكميلة جاني وجاني خميلة جاني إنا بيشن طير بخيلة ولاية يعني دينا أمريكاي وخرواته اتلاقت خاخز داجة الملتيني وهربيضا تا شاري أرخات بتاخا يدايو تضروا الأطر دياني إيمان خاطر جامو تاويلو أسكر قمهاويلو وناطور قمهاويلو زوز قمهاويلو وهكمة تبلاي قمهايريلو أيضا شريع ملتيني بزيادة وجروسي جو أرأت أوهاتيني وهربيضا تتخمنيات رابا شابير إيتن مارا إن آني تليبي يدايبني تايني خشو إن خدشت السنة بخاينا إندينا جو بصرة يعني بغداد يعني دكان خيتن وهدرة سليمانية أربل شغلة وباني جارت حقو تيبيشن طرتا وخوميتا أنا همون إن هاوي لن خادوك تدقانا كل بدآتيو ونيخا وبتجمي قداي قنا ديروسا أي قنا وهي خا قنا رابا جوتا ميقرهم مسئد من
خام دخينا ميقردي بدأت وقت بشورايا متخروا على قد خا كونغريشنال تانخ ريزوليوشن خاتا بليطة من كونغرس تجاوينا بسنادة البريتت خا هوبركية يعني بروبنس جو إراق جو ننوى جو دشتت ننوى تويا تانخ انطرتا ومشريتة عطوراي رصيانة ومتانخ ملت خينتنا سيريات خينة تاما إلى خمدي رابا سبايت إلى بليطة هدية خاتا وتمجت قد بغزايخ قد بايخ بقرخلا قد ميقرت نهرين إن resolution بخشاوة قد بتبايش ويدا يندخي Nahren, I was just asking if this resolution, do you think it will be passed or it's just it's not yet decided yet?
I believe that it will eventually pass. You know, when we had the genocide resolution last year, even though we had to amend some of the language in it because it seemed like it was favoring the Kurds too much, but it eventually, through the right amount of lobbying and teamwork, we were able to get it to pass. And so this is tied into it. So everyone who signed and co-sponsored the House Resolution 75 for the genocide acknowledgement, that they have to. This is just tied into it. The House Resolution 152 requesting for a protective Nineveh Plain region. So they need to support it, because if they are supporting to preserve the minorities as we're labeled who are affected by the constant persecution, then this is the only way to actually substantially do it. And so we had a lot of support. There's quite a few congressmen who are leading this campaign to get everyone on board to support this. And they already have quite a few co-sponsors, just in a matter of a few days. And we're hoping to get even more every day that goes by. But I truly believe that they will support it. And if they know what's good for the United States, and we explained it to them very clearly, that Assyrian Christians cannot be infiltrated. We are not a future problem like what happened with Al-Qaeda. We funded Al-Qaeda to work against the Soviets, and they turned around and stabbed us in the back. We have to pick our allies very wisely. We discussed things such as, why not have a United States base in Nineveh? Because it will work to protect the people of Nineveh, and it will also benefit the United States. As you know, they're always looking out for their own personal interests, just like any other country there, like Germany and France and the United Kingdom. And so, we try to speak in their language that, why not? Why not have a United States base there? Why not work closely with Assyrians? We are much more trustworthy than any other people there. And it's sometimes, we are truly just looking out to preserve our own people, when other groups of people there are only wanting to occupy more oil, more uranium, more territories by theft and genocide. So we have not conducted genocide against anyone, and therefore that's why the United States can trust the Assyrian Christians and the Yazidis. We're hoping to work back to back with our Yazidi brothers and sisters. I met quite a few of them in D.C., and they're wonderful people. They love Assyrians so much. They don't want to work with anyone but Assyrians. I truly believe that as long as we work together and aim for the same goal, I think that with all God's will, we will increase our population back to over 1 million in a short period of time. And also, we mentioned relocating the Suraydin in the Middle East. There's so many Assyrians that are spread out in Jordan and even Syria. There's quite a few that are in Turkey, and they're not from there. Not the ones that were already living there. Those were the ones from Iraq. They need to return back home.
Yeah. So you have a question?
No, just with regards to this congressional resolution. Of course, my belief it's against the KRG. Against what the KRG are planning in the region. So, do you think that they can knock down such a resolutions, or they can stop such a resolutions? Because frankly, looking at what's happening right now in occupied Assyria, there is a lot of talk about whether to that the Nineveh Plain region will be linked to the KRG region, and they are doing some sort of questionnaire to ordinary Christians in the area, asking them what's their preference for the independence of the Kurd region, which is called Kurdistan, or they want to be part of Iraq. And they say that the majority of Christians, they were in favor independence of the Kurd region. And also they were asking some of the Christians whether they want this Nineveh province to be under the rule of KRG or independent. And majority, as they say in their reports, that the majority, or 86%, they were in favor that this Nineveh Plain will be under the KRG, rules.
Well, Hermes, because I think either they're forced or because they live there, and possibly they will have difficulties, actually.
The only thing is, David, I just want to know how much influence the Kurd will have to, stop such a resolution or influence such a resolution from passing.
What's your opinion, Nahren, about this question, or about what Hermes actually said?
Correct. So that's a very, very good question. The Kurds, just like, for example, again, I'm going to use the example of our Jewish brothers and sisters when they were requesting to establish Israel, and there were so many countries that were against it and they weren't signing it. And actually, I believe the United States was one of them that was not initially signing their resolution. But so we will always have people that will try to stand in our route and to prevent it, only because they want to benefit themselves. So definitely the Kurds are on top of the list. They are very against a semi-autonomous Nineveh region, and if it's even possible, they want it administered by the KRG, which is not going to happen. And that is why we are proving to the United States government that the KRG disarmed the Assyrians and the Yazidis 2 weeks prior to the Daesh or ISIS invasion. They took away all of our arms 2 weeks before ISIS invaded. And there's many testimonies, and that the Kurds are working. Some of the Kurds are working alongside with ISIS. ISIS has recruited many Kurds from the KRG region to be in ISIS. The withdrawing of troops, Peshmerga troops that left Nineveh and Sinjar, allowing the genocide to take place, that was also very inhumane. And so there are a lot of things that the KRG has done to make us lose trust in them.
Yeah.
And also, as the native people, we should not have to report to a secondary government, and then they report to the central government. We want to report directly to the central government. We are not secondary people to report to them. If they are reporting to the central government and they are not even indigenous to the region, then we need to report also to the central government. It will be much easier for Assyrians to eventually go to an autonomous status if we are reporting directly to the central government, because the Kurds will never let go of us.
Yeah.
And really, Al-Turayadian, they need to understand that if we pledge allegiance to the Kurds in any way, regardless if they're living there, then they should not vote at all if they're living in the KRG region and they're afraid of how they may retaliate against them. But they will never let go of our people if we are reporting directly to them. They will eventually swallow and devour the Nineveh region to be part of the big Kurdistan they are planning to have. So I think that it is only right to be administered by our own people, as if we are as semi-autonomous initially, which will happen, and then we need to be under the central government of Iraq.
Nahren, the last question, I'm sure lately you had a lot of meeting with many representatives of our political parties. I know a lot of them, they came to United States lately. What do you think? Are they in agreement with this resolution, this kind of resolution, or there is a split in the way of their thinking or approach to this issue?
Honestly, so far I have not met one person that's against the establishment of the Nineveh Plains region. And I met people in Assyrian parties, and also, in Chaldean, like there are quite a few Chaldean lobbyists here who are, of course, Assyrian, but they're under Chaldean organizations. They were not against it. Also, there were some Syriac groups. They were not against it. So I haven't met anyone that is completely against it. There are quite a few of our brothers and sisters from, the Roman Catholic rites here that are very for emptying Iraq of all the Assyrians. So that, we're trying to work with them to try to, convince them to stop these lobbying efforts to keep bringing Assyrian refugees to Michigan or California, and to, they're all in green zones. There's no reason to keep removing them, because it is very difficult to bring them back. It's going to take tremendous effort to bring them back. And I know that there is some commission they are receiving for every Assyrian that leaves Iraq. Their organizations are getting paid. Even American churches that are receiving these refugees, they're actually receiving money from the government, a large amount of money. I believe sometimes it's up to $30,000 per head. So it's almost become a business. But they, those types of people that want to empty out the region of Suraya, those are the ones we're concerned about. And but you know what? This last lobbying effort that we're doing, the project, there are more people. The majority, over 90% of the people, want the region, internationally protected Nineveh region, with our own military. Last year, even in the hallways, I was hearing the echoes of some people asking for a protective region, some people in the same time, within the same hour, asking the same congressman to increase the number of refugees that are coming into the United States.
Yeah.
So it was a very mixed message last year.
Unfortunately, it is the same situation everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, well, but Nahren, but in a way, I don't blame them, because if there is no solution and they're suffering every day, so people they're thinking that look, there's no hope, so we have to keep pushing and getting everyone out of there. But look, I believe some changes will come, and
Yes,
I believe that change will be in our favor. And the only alternative for the Assyrians to stay in the Middle East, we must have that protection region with the international community help, and I believe then we can build a small Assyria, become a big Assyria. Look, due to time, Nahren, I'll just ask you a few questions, but very short answers if it's possible. Like how, I know, look, it's not easy, how hard it is for you. I mean, look, traveling all the time, because you had to travel to Washington and you are in Detroit. I know you have a lot of actually interviews by TVs and radio channels, and in the meantime, all this lobbying. How are you managing doing all this, interviews and lobbying? And what makes you actually really become so active in this lobby group and continuously, non-stop, since we saw you last time in Sydney until now? It's almost every day you are on Facebook, you are everywhere.
Dedicated
something.
entire life actually for this purpose. Yeah.
Well, it definitely does not compare to how much work you both have done.
Thank you. Yeah.
But honestly, I believe that our Father, our God, He has picked His soldiers and His messengers, just like I truly believe with all my heart you both are definitely our Father's, our God's soldiers for UNTA. So I believe He picks people specifically to as worker bees, as we say, to finish this project. And it is something that is so much greater than any country can ever try to stop. I believe with God's push, He keeps pushing us to work harder. And, watching our people suffer, that's definitely more encouraging and empowering to keep working no matter how tired you are. It's just, I think that anyone that feels the pain of our people back home, should really join this effort, and they should feel their pain, because their pain should be our pain, because we are all one body and should work, united together. I think our culture, our people are so beautiful. It's such an ancient, most beautiful culture, and the people, I think, from our Libba, it's amazing, and just bringing that back to its roots. I think that, it's definitely everyone's duty. And what keeps empowering me, I think, is that we're so close. We are so close to our goal, and, we just need to keep going. And the more closer we get, the harder it's going to be, because Sultana Libya doesn't want Assyria to rise.
Yeah. Nahren, well, due to the time again, can I say, look, if I say a few words in Assyrian, I believe you will understand, but it's a bit difficult for you to speak. But you do understand Assyrians, yeah? Very well.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Look, أخشب نمرن قد علىها يرخ علىها ومنخ خش لقامة وأخنا بهاي رخلق سندخلق. We will always, support you and be there for you. And whenever you need any support or any help or anything, we are ready for you here. Me, Hermes, AUA, Australia is always ready. And we're looking forward to see you next year again in Assyrian New Year Festival. It will be an opportunity again to meet with the young Assyrians and many youth. And we need to actually move the young generation and have the same inspiration and lobby and work hard to do something and have this Assyrian province or Assyrian protected region or an autonomous region, no matter what you call it, as long as it's protected and supported by the international community. I believe that we will always be there for you, and we'll have more interviews. And whenever you have a news or something that is important, actually, you can just call us or just send us an email, and we'll organize an interview, and we will have you actually live on our program. This is your program. Whenever you need something, you are most welcome, darling.
Robert David, and thank you so much, Mr. Shaheen. But you know, coming from you, it means a lot to me. And and I, when I was in Australia, I definitely felt like I was in Assyria in the diaspora, very, very patriotic, nationalistic, and faithful Assyrians to their nation. I felt that in you two and your team there in Australia, and I really can't wait to come back to Sydney and see all of you again, and it'll be an honor to do that again.
Well, I'm going to play this beautiful song of Agassi, even Agassi, Khaqala min Ninweh. It's a beautiful song. I believe that one day it will come, and that Ninweh will be protected by the international community, and the Assyrians will have their rights again to live in Assyria.
Thank you, David. And I sent you the link of my statement I made at the press club in Washington, D.C. So if you would like to play that to the audience, I'm not sure if you've listened to it already, but I sent it to you.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you. باسم ترابا علىها
نهرين مدري مني خي جانخ وعلىها أو أمخ وناطرخ وخاميلخ قومتا ناطوريتا وأخنا همشا إيوخ سندانقاتخ وكوم ديت بيت همشا قريطلان وأخنا بطيرخ ديت تيلي قمصيتان وبخيلت على بخزخ لخ شيت تيلي بتايا لخا